You're on.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning, and I do apologize for the last minute, but I really felt it was important for me to get this information out to you as soon as possible. And as you can imagine, information is coming to us like real time. I just this afternoon have a meeting with a Zoom meeting with Dr. Gardner, and then later we have another one with General Hilliard. So, you know, getting information on the vaccines, I can't talk a lot about that today, but I will mention it. So the first thing I want to address this morning, because after I sent my email out yesterday, I got a lot of responses and questions from people about Dr. Wright and Michael. So I had put something in writing in regards to Dr. Wright and Michael. So the first thing I want to say is that Michael has never been to Roberta Place, so that was not an issue for him. Dr. Lee, who is the Assistant Medical Director of Health for Simcoe County, knew about what Michael was doing and had okayed him to come into the home. But yesterday, after the concerns everyone was showing, we thought that, you know, just to be abundantly cautious, we would ask Michael not to return until Kelly has finished her isolation and has negative COVID swabs. But we do know that Michael is negative. He was swabbed here. He gets swabbed twice a week, and he's had both vaccines. But I just want to put everybody's mind at rest on that. So let's move along to, where's my list? Okay. So the ministry, at the beginning of January, sent out a letter and told us that we have to start using a third party for screening. And so what they've done is they've provided the funding for us, and we are required, it is mandatory, that we hire a security guard 24/7. Now, what we'll be doing, if we can get a security guard, they also told us that there aren't a lot of them around, so I'm not quite sure how we're supposed to do this. But if and when we get the security guard, they will be here 24/7, and they will be doing the screening. The role of the security guard is supposed to oversee the screening, but I really don't see the cost benefit in having someone watch one of our screeners do their job. So we will have that person doing the screening going forward. So we'll keep you updated on that. We are going to try and ask maybe if the security guards don't have to come in full uniforms, so it's less intimidating. They will be in full PPE, so we'll see how that goes. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the rapid testing. We've now been received directives on the rapid testing, which we received the kits this week, and we were testing them out on ourselves to see how they work. So because we were in a gray area during the initial lockdown, we have been given, we have to transition from what we're doing now, which is the deep nasal swabs once a week, to the rapid antigen testing. And there are requirements based on how often you come in the building. So basically, it's gonna take us some time to be able to schedule staff, to find staff who can actually conduct the testing. They are recommending that we have 3 people, and we feel because it's a small home, we just need 2 people because we don't have that many people coming in. So just to read to you what the ministry is requiring, that long-term care homes in Toronto, Public Health, York, Peel, Windsor, Simcoe, Muskoka have to start transitioning by February the 8th and must ensure full operation of the rapid antigen test clinic by the 16th. So next week we will still be doing for our staff the deep nasal swab, but we will also be trialing the rapid tests so that we are up and running as soon as possible. So these are the requirements that the ministry has laid out for us. Staff and volunteers who enter the home 2 or more days in a 7-day period must undergo the antigen tests on non-consecutive days up to 3 times in the period prior to entry to the long-term care home. Staff, students who enter long-term care only once in a 7-day period undergo the antigen test the day prior to them entering the home. Caregivers and support workers undergo an antigen test on the day, regardless of how many times they attend to a home in a 7-day period. So for essential caregivers, you will be tested every time you come in the building. There are a couple of different tests. Right now, we only have the deep nose one at the moment. So I'm sorry that that would have to be done to you every day as you came in. So hopefully we will be up and transitioned by the beginning of the 8th. And we may start testing some family members earlier than that, depending again on how we're able to staff and schedule the actual clinic, because we're still looking for staff to do what we need done here now. And now this is an additional burden that's been put on us. So I did want to mention staffing. We have not hired any PSWs this month because we've had no responses to our job ads. We have, however, hired a lot of resident care assistants, and they are working alongside the PSW to give as much assistance as possible. So at the moment, we have 1 full-time RCA, 6 part-time RCAs, and 3 casuals who are also cross-trained in other departments. So some of them are cross-trained in dietary and some of them are cross-trained in housekeeping. And we did hire a registered nurse. We would like to hire 1 more if we could, but we're managing at the moment. So I just wanted to give you that bit of an update. An update on the vaccines. I'll probably know more after the meeting this afternoon, but we have been reassured by the ministry that the residents will receive their 2nd dose of the vaccine within 21 to 28 days of their original vaccine. So that would be either the end of next week or the end of the following week. And of course, I'll let you know as soon as we hear anything from public health. We are conducting a mock outbreak on Monday. So basically, we will go out to the staff on the floor and give them a mock scenario, and then we want to see how well they follow the procedures. This is just going to help to make them more comfortable. If we ever do go into an outbreak, they'll have a better handle on how to respond. We then can go back and debrief and make necessary changes if they're necessary. So if you're here and you hear rumors of an outbreak on Monday, it's just a mock. I was asked to mention that people still are continuing to walk around the building. I just want to point out that it isn't safe. You could slip and fall, and we do not want to take that responsibility. That's why we clear the front area for families to be able to come. So please bear that in mind. I know you want to go around to the bedroom window, that you could slip and hurt yourself. So the chat box is up and running, so you will be able to ask your questions. The one thing I didn't mention was that the district health council here has said that if we go into outbreak, essential visitors will not be allowed in. Initially, the ministry had said even if we were in outbreak, essential caregivers could come in, but because of the new variant, Simcoe Muskoka has said no essential caregivers are allowed in if the home goes into outbreak. So just so that you're aware. Let's see what else. So going forward next week, please just continue as always. Go get your test, your negative proof, bring it in and show us, and then we'll let you know when we're finally ready to transition to the new system. And then you won't have to go and get that test anymore. You'll be getting it done here. I have a lot of papers in front of me, but I think I've covered off the important points. I'm happy to ask any questions, and I'm really hoping I haven't forgotten any. Yes. So if we were in outbreak, and I said essential visitors are not allowed, that does not include essential caregivers who were coming in to see someone who was palliative. You would be allowed in. We would probably ask you if you'd like to be tested, but we cannot stop you from coming in if it's a palliative situation. And I don't think we would want to either. So I think that's everything. So are there any questions, Derek? Does anybody want to? So does anybody have any questions? Did I answer the questions of those of you who emailed me yesterday? You asked me about testing, vaccine, and Michael and Kelly.
Remind them they can email you.
You can always email me a question if you have one. I didn't answer them yesterday because I knew I would be having this meeting with you today, but I normally get back to you as soon as I can if you have any questions. So please feel free.
Do you know when there you go.
Do you know when essential caregivers get their second dose? No, I'm sorry, I don't. I know that they're putting the residents as a priority, and I may have more information after I hear General Hilliard this afternoon, and if I do, I will send you an email. Now, the question is, when do essential workers get vaccinated? Can you maybe define what you mean by essential workers? Our staff have been going and getting the vaccine up until they stopped them last week. Some have had one, some have had two, and then they came in and they vaccinated most of our residents, and some of our family members had started going, our essential caregivers had started to go and get their vaccine. And there is I think there is a rollout of the second phase. And so, again, it depends on what the definition of essential worker is in that question from Lorraine. I'm not sure. I mean, caregivers. So caregivers were being vaccinated until all the vaccines stopped. So they will come in and do with what they have. My understanding is they will come in and do the residents' second vaccine. And then when the vaccines ramp up and start coming in, then the caregivers will receive contact from the clinic where you got your first dose, or we will contact you to set up an appointment like we had been doing prior to the Pfizer being not delivered. So we will be in touch, or the clinic will be in touch, depending on where you are, first or second dose. If there are no more questions, then I will say goodbye for now. Please continue to keep us in your prayers. We're thankful that the Lord is taking care of us and keeping our residents and staff safe. And we are being very vigilant in what we're doing. And the variant is very scary. What happened at Roberta Place is beyond sad and somewhat scary. So yeah, your prayers would be much appreciated. So I'll say goodbye for now. And if I have any information, I will email it to you, and we'll see. Maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll have another meeting. Take care. Thank you.